Listen, warrior behind the walls. Stop drifting through existence pretending this is merely another lesson. This isn't casual wisdom, this is the moment your fortress crumbles. This is a requiem for the version of you that surrendered merely to be accepted. Feel that tremor? That's your essence fighting against the prison you confined it to. Don't you dare retreat into numbness. Let every word pierce your armor like a well-aimed spear, let it wound deeply, because that profound ache is your authentic self finally breaking its silence. You've been hemorrhaging in isolation too long. You've relinquished your backbone as though it were an offering. You've diminished your voice, erased your boundaries, performed as the agreeable shadow just to be selected. And for what purpose? A few fleeting moments wrapped in slow spiritual death? You exchanged your thunder for a smile that vanishes the instant you speak your truth. You sacrificed your ambition merely to maintain harmony. You offered your purpose like it was a debt you owed to others. Look at your reflection now, dulled, empty, tamed, half alive. The warrior you were destined to become remains chained in the dungeon of your existence, watching you shatter yourself merely to be tolerated, watching you surrender your internal flame as though it were hazardous when truly it was sacred. After years of pretending, performing, placating, you cannot even meet your own gaze without recoiling. You move through life embodying strength, but internally you're embers, echoes, a phantom in your own fortress. But this changes now. This is the shedding of your former self, the rebellion in your very essence. This is your spirit realigning with thunderous force, echoing every moment you suppressed your truth. Let them depart, let tranquility perish, let the entire universe invert if that's the price of reclaiming yourself. The warrior who perishes pleasing others vanishes from memory, but the one who rises in authenticity becomes immortal. Don't whisper platitudes. Don't inscribe some gentle quotation and continue as though this hasn't transformed you completely. Declare it like summoning a tempest, proclaim it like burning away chains with your very breath. My courage shall never bend for approval. Speak it not as mere words but as resurrection. Speak it as though your soul is destroying every falsehood it has consumed. Speak it as though drawing your first true breath in decades. When you articulate from your core, from the primal force, from the place society instructed you to conceal, you aren't merely speaking. You're igniting the flame. You're initiating the battle. And this time, warrior, defeat isn't possible. First principle, cease excessive explanations. You aren't defending yourself in judgment. You aren't evidence to be dissected under scrutiny, and you certainly needn't craft elaborate justifications when questioned. Yet observe how many warriors do precisely this, drowning in explanations, endlessly attempting to defend themselves, describing every action as though their worth depends on each word they utter. They dismantle themselves systematically, hoping to repair some imaginary flaw. What drives this behavior? Fear. Fear of misinterpretation, fear of conflict, fear of abandonment. So they speak endlessly, justifying every decision like defending against accusations, explaining delayed responses, tardiness, missed communications, clarifying their past, their intentions, their decisions. It's draining, and with each additional word, they destroy the very essence they believe they're protecting, their power. Not because they're incorrect, but because they've sacrificed their authority and dignity to appease others' comfort. They've forgotten that silence often communicates most powerfully. The philosopher wasn't mistaken when stating, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." A warrior who owns his truth needs no verbal labyrinth to justify each action. His deeds forge the path, his energy resonates louder than justifications, his boundaries stand firm, fortifying his integrity. Kindness, yes. Clarity, absolutely. But mental gymnastics to preserve another's fragile peace? That's surrendering your power. That's where respect diminishes. When you continuously explain yourself, you reveal vulnerability. You demonstrate that your peace, your identity, is something you'll readily sacrifice piece by piece to soothe another's insecurities. That isn't strength, it's submission. The truth, excessive explanation doesn't bring peace, it exposes your fear. It doesn't calm others, it reveals how much you'll sacrifice to maintain their contentment. Let them experience discomfort. Let questions accumulate. Let them process the silence. You needn't resolve everything. A warrior standing in calm certainty states without hesitation, "This is what I did. This is why I did it." You're free to feel as you feel. Then, silence. That silence embodies your strength and truth. When you permit others to remain in this silence, you demonstrate your unwillingness to compromise. You show them you don't require external validation for completeness. If they respect that silence, if they can join you in that raw, unspoken moment where mutual respect supersedes all else, they stand beside you. They recognize the warrior who knows his worth. But if they cannot accept truth, even when uncomfortable, they never truly stood with you. They stood with the version of you that continually apologized for authentic existence, the version that feared loss more than sacrificing self-respect. That warrior is no more. That person who collapsed under excessive apologies, who perpetually questioned every action, is gone. And the new warrior breathes freely now, stands tall in his own truth, and recognizes that silence, strength, and self-respect far outweigh any explanation he could offer. Second principle: stop attempting to manage others' emotions. You aren't their healer, their emotional support, nor responsible for resolving every internal storm they face. Many warriors fall into believing their value depends on rescuing others from emotional turbulence, calming their anger, easing their distress, elevating their spirits. But hear this truth: your purpose isn't to fix them. Your role isn't to battle every internal conflict they experience. You exist beside them without losing yourself in their emotional maelstrom. Ancient philosophers understood this profoundly. The emperor didn't waste existence trying to correct others' emotional states. His focus remained internal, on his emotional mastery, because he recognized you control only your own responses. Others' emotions belong to them, not for you to resolve. When they express anger, you needn't scramble to calm them. When confused, you needn't explain everything to improve their feelings. Remain grounded, unshaken. Each time you attempt to fix their emotions, you gradually lose yourself. You allow their moods to determine your peace. When you try resolving every emotional outburst, you subtly teach them they cannot manage their own feelings. You aren't empowering them, you're weakening them, and simultaneously weakening yourself. Fixing others' emotions resembles controlling the wind, futile, exhausting, beyond your influence. As the philosopher noted, we cannot choose external circumstances, but we can always choose our response. Their emotions represent external circumstances beyond your control, and the moment you attempt control, you surrender your power. You're no longer the stability within chaos, you're being tossed by it. Let them feel, let them process, but don't drown alongside them. Trying to fix them stems from fear of their pain, their disappointment, the tension. You believe fixing them brings peace, but it won't. True peace comes from standing firmly while they experience their storm, unmoved, unaffected. That's the strength of philosophical wisdom, controlling your response to surrounding chaos, not the chaos itself. When you stop fixing their emotions, you stop relinquishing your power, stop sacrificing your peace. You demonstrate respect for their ability to process their feelings, fostering genuine respect. When you cease trying to improve everything, you create space for mutual growth. You become the warrior who doesn't bend or fracture under pressure, the warrior standing tall facing the storm. That warrior commands respect. Here's wisdom: stop fixing, start standing. Stand firmly in your strength, allowing others to process emotions without losing your center. When you stop fixing everything, you'll realize the only element requiring improvement is yourself, your ability to remain unshaken, unbothered, unwavering. That's your true power, and that's the warrior others will respect. Third principle: stop idealizing others. You honor them like royalty, but what became of honoring yourself as equally noble? That's the trap countless warriors fall into, not because they offered love, but because they offered worship. You pursue them, prioritize them, bend backwards ensuring their happiness. What happens to you? Your essence fades. With each sacrifice, you lose another fragment of yourself. You give them your time, energy, life force while relegating your dreams and needs to obscurity. You praise them daily, but who acknowledges you? You concede to avoid tension, prevent conflict, maintain peace. But internally, you sense it, respect diminishing. You feel the connection that once burned between you gradually fading into emptiness. Why? Because you've forgotten a crucial truth: they don't want servitude. They don't desire someone constantly pursuing them, sacrificing everything for their pleasure. They want sovereignty, a warrior commanding his own existence, his own purpose, demanding equal respect to what he offers. That throne you relinquish doesn't impress them, it diminishes their attraction. You believe you're demonstrating love, but you're demonstrating absence of self-worth. The more you kneel before them, the less they perceive you as the warrior they once desired. You've exchanged power for approval, leaving only desperation's hollow echo. The philosopher articulated perfectly, if you wish to be loved, love not with weakness but with dignity. Dignity, that's essential. True connection isn't about worship, it's about standing as equals. It's about mutual respect, equality, partnership, not hierarchy with one above, one below. When you place them on pedestals, you've already positioned yourself in the dust. You diminish in their perception, appearing weak, insecure, dependent on their validation. This isn't about cruelty, it's about the message communicated through your actions. You've taught them progressively that their needs supersede yours, that their happiness outweighs your spirit. Consequently, they treat you as lesser because you permitted it. The painful reality: the warrior who forgets his worth merely to maintain a relationship will never sustain it, and worse, he'll lose himself. You won't just lose them, you'll lose your most valuable possession, your identity. They aren't deities, they're human. Beautiful, powerful, flawed like yourself. If you seek something authentic, enduring, build it on truth, not hierarchy, on partnership, not worship. Fourth principle: stop concealing your truth to maintain relationships. You feel it, don't you? That persistent sensation deep within suggesting something's wrong? You recognize the patterns, the warnings signaling before you, the behaviors eroding your spirit, yet remain silent. Why? Because you're afraid. Terrified your truth will drive them away, terrified speaking honestly means losing them. You believe if you simply endure, if you disregard it, they'll remain. But understand this, that isn't love, it's emotional self-destruction. You suffocate yourself, sacrificing your spirit for illusory peace. Deep down, you recognize this reality. When suppressing your truth, concealing genuine feelings, these emotions don't vanish, they fester within, transforming into anxiety, resentment, passive aggression. You'll lie awake beside them while your spirit drifts galaxies away. Your physical presence remains, but your soul suffocates silently. The philosopher stated plainly, to conceal your thoughts is to surrender your power. That's reality. When keeping truth locked inside, you aren't protecting them or the relationship, you're losing yourself. You become a specter, a shapeshifter contorting into whatever version they desire rather than standing firmly in your authentic strength. Regardless how much they claim to want peace, what they truly desire is a warrior who stands resolute in his truth, not one who bends, not one hiding behind silence. They want someone unshakable, immovable, honest. Not cruel or cold, but clear, grounded, brutally authentic. If you continue sacrificing truth for temporary peace, you'll spend existence in perpetual conflict with yourself. That's the cost. Each time you withhold, you erode your integrity. Your peace vanishes, your sense of self evaporates. It's time to stop hiding. Let them experience tension. Allow discomfort. Let them feel anger, withdraw if necessary, but never for an instant let your truth be buried merely for their comfort. The warrior who speaks difficult truths with love and clarity will never apologize for his existence. If they don't respect that, if they depart, they never align with your authentic self anyway, only with the version wearing a mask to ensure their happiness. And that person no longer exists. Fifth principle: stop making others your purpose. This destroys countless warriors, gradually, silently, imperceptibly. You meet them, they embody perfection, beautiful, kind, accelerating your heartbeat, illuminating your world like celestial phenomena. You believe they're your missing element, the reason you've waited, and briefly, you feel invincible. But somewhere along your journey, you forget who existed before they entered your life, the warrior once focused, driven, mission-bound. You cease training, building, advancing because now they're your reason. You live for them, breathe for them, make them your guiding star. Suddenly, your entire identity depends on their happiness. And there, brother, is where deterioration begins. The emperor stated, "A warrior's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." When did your ambition become their approval? When did your drive transform into constant communication, planning, pleasing? When did you begin orbiting their universe instead of constructing your own? They're human, they can inspire you, enrich your life, become your muse, but they can never become your mission. Because when they become the mission, they also become your master. And no one, regardless how extraordinary, wants to lead a warrior who's forgotten self-leadership. You lose your edge, your focus, the fire once burning within, the fire that captivated them, kept them engaged. Now that flame diminishes, suffocated by their becoming your everything. And when inevitability occurs, when they leave, you aren't merely heartbroken, you're hollow, empty, because you stopped becoming a warrior for yourself. You allowed them to take the one element you could never afford to lose, your purpose. Purpose anchors a warrior, keeping him grounded amid chaos. Purpose gives your connection strength, not desperation. Purpose makes you complete. So build your kingdom, strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, pursue your mission with relentless passion. Let them join your journey, but never for an instant let them become it. Every time you betrayed yourself for another, you weren't weak, you were untrained, unfocused. But that concludes today, right here, immediately. These 5 principles aren't merely concepts to remember, they are weapons, your armor. Use them, sharpen them until they cut through every falsehood you've absorbed. Live them, become them. Others don't desire the hollow, those who diminish when confronted. They crave the complete, warriors who rise, stand tall, and elevate others alongside them. Not above, not beneath. If this resonated deeply within you, don't merely contemplate it. If this journey toward self-respect has begun, you aren't walking alone. Now, let us seal this covenant in stone, the final declaration for your transformation. I choose power over pleasing, because this moment belongs to you, to claim, to own, to become.